The winning blueprint presents.
While you're here, go ahead and sub up.
For those of you who don't know, I am Lou, host of the football program in the lab room. Thank you for joining me. Here simply to talk football. And I watched a few preseason games over the weekend, jotted down some notes while I was watching the games. And in one game in particular, I watched the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the Baltimore Ravens. And so I want to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this football game and what they were able to accomplish and what I saw. And won't be very long-winded. I'll get straight to the point. So, with that being said, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home taking on the Baltimore Ravens in their first preseason action of 2013. And the first thing I have to know, and you could go and extrapolate this over every team in the league. Every team had guys that were out, key guys that they didn't play, that they rested, that were banged up, whatever the case may be, veterans that you just want to rest, no need to play them in the first preseason game. Everyone in the league had them, but I felt like I had to mention it with Tampa Bay. No Davin Joseph or Carl Nix, two of your better guards. No, not two of your better. The two best offensive linemen on your team at the guard positions, neither one were in the game, and I thought it had an effect on what the Buccaneers could do offensively. They did not run the football well. They didn't pass protect for Josh Freeman all that well either, and so I thought it was worth noting that, hey, neither one of these guys played, so take it with a grain of salt. But still, guys have to step up. What if these guys go down? Carl Nix didn't even play most of last season. What if these guys go down? These other players have to be able to step up and be ready if called into duty. And so, look, even though they weren't there, other guys need to be ready to play. And I thought some of these other guards did struggle a bit in pass protection and in the run game. But you look at Levante David, and look, if you're a Bucs fan, you already know this. I'm not telling you. You already know. But if you're not a Bucs fan, I'm here to tell you, Levante David is a player. This guy can play football. I love Levante David. I mean, coming out of Nebraska, I was told that this guy was a machine. And I knew what he could bring to the table watching him at Nebraska, but I said, I don't know. I don't know if Levante David's game is going to translate as well as it did in college. No, it translated just as well as it did in the college, if not more so in the National Football League. This guy is a player. I love Levante David. He gets it done 10 times out of 10. You look at Danny Gore, and he picked off Joe Flacco, and I actually thought he was having a really strong game. I mean, I was looking at him, and I was like, man, Danny Gore is looking like he wants to start across from Darrelle Revis. I mean, and look, I was listening to the telecast, and it seems like he's an option in the slot only. But the pick that he made was out wide. It was zone coverage. He came off of his man, read the eyes of Joe Flacco and cheated and picked it off. And he made a beautiful break on the football. I mean, absolutely beautiful. And there was another play where he was in the slot and they tried to throw the football to Torrey Smith and he just knocked it away. He wasn't having it. And that's the play he hurt himself on, hurt his groin. Hope he's okay because he was playing some outstanding football in this game before he went down to that injury. So I like what I saw out of Danny Gore. I'm hoping to see more out of this young corner for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You look at Kevin Ogletree. Nice catch on third down. He had a couple of catches in this game, 5 to be exact. I thought that he really did himself some good in that competition to win that slot receiver position. And if I had to pick a dog in that fight, I'm going with Kevin Ogletree. I've said it from the beginning. You didn't go out and get him to just sit him down or to play him on special teams. You went out and got Kevin Ogletree because you think he can help you in the slot more so than Tyquan Underwood. And so, you know how I feel. More Ogletree, please. I think you're going to get a lot more of him on this football team in the slot in 2013. Look, I don't know if you know this already, but I'm here to tell you, Greg Schiano has a very, very huge affinity for Brian Leonard. I don't know if you know this or not, but Brian Leonard is a player that played for Greg Schiano at the University of Rutgers. And so, or Rutgers University, excuse me. And so, Greg Schiano likes, more importantly, he trusts Brian Leonard. And so Bucs fans, I'm just letting you know, prepare to see and receive a huge dose of Brian Leonard. He's going to get the football as a running back, catching it out of the backfield. He's going to block on third downs and pass pro. You're going to get a nice dosage of Brian Leonard as a backup running back in 2013. And he can deliver. If you watch the game, he was solid. Made some tough runs. He can catch it out of the backfield. He can do a lot for you. He can block as a fullback if you need him to. Brian Leonard brings a lot to this football team, and Greg Schiano absolutely loves this guy. So prepare to see a lot of Brian Leonard in 2013. Josh Freeman's performance was a mixed bag. And so far his career has been a mixed bag, and that's what this game was. I still don't know who Josh Freeman is. I'm confused. Who are you? Really? Who are you? Because you'll get the occasional throw where he'll just toss it up to one of these big receivers and they'll go up and make a play. And that's what he does best, in my opinion, is just give guys an opportunity to make plays on the football. But then he'll hang in a pocket, he'll hang tough, and he'll rifle a pass like he did to Ogletree over the middle of the field. And then he'll airmail one over everyone's head about 8 feet. What are you doing? Or he'll miss an open receiver and you'll go, come on, that's an easy throw. What are you doing, Josh? And so I'm still at a crossroads with Josh Freeman. This is it, though. He's got to perform in 2013 or he won't be back for 2014 in Tampa Bay. This is a contract season, and he's got to perform. He's got to show that, hey, I'm the guy. This is my team. I'm the franchise here in Tampa Bay. Make Glennon a backup because they didn't spend a first rounder on this guy. He doesn't have to play. But if you force their hand, he will play. So we'll see. Speaking of Glennon, first pass in the preseason goes for 61 yards to Tom Crabtree. Look, I really didn't want to evaluate Glennon because, and look, I know in the NFL you're going to get inclement weather. You're going to have to play in the rain. It was a downpour when he first came into the game. And so I kind of threw this one out of the window for him. And I said, okay, I'll reevaluate you next week and see what you look like when the weather is a little bit more fair and I can get a better assessment of what you can bring to the table. But I thought he started out really nice, but he had some issues with the ball, and I just want to reevaluate him. He gets an incomplete in this game for me because of the inclement weather and the situation and the way it was. I'll look at him over the life of this preseason and really have a preconceived notion of what I think he can be for this Buccaneers team in 2013. Of course, he can get better down the road, but I don't think he's the guy that can necessarily help you right now. I think this is Josh Freeman's team in 2013. Whether you win or you lose, it's Josh Freeman's team all the way because you need to know that you can either move on with this guy or you got to move on from this guy. And so I think Glennon isn't really going to be in the picture per se, barring injury in 2013. But we'll see. You never know these things. But I think this is Josh Freeman's team to lead in 2013, whether he leads you to an abysmal record or he leads you to the playoffs. That's for another day to discuss. But in any event, I think Josh Freeman is going to have free reins to do what he needs to do to either solidify himself as the quarterback of the Buccaneers or to solidify him not being back in Tampa Bay after the 2013 season. And that's what I saw in this preseason game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Like the content? Want more? Sub up.